If you don't know Marques Brownlee, channel name MKBHD, you've been living under a rock. 16 plus million YouTube subscribers, billions of views, the ultimate tech reviewer on YouTube. In this podcast, we get into some really interesting conversation. What gives him anxiety, his near-death experience, his love for cars, and his skepticism of crypto and NFTs, and also the metaverse. This conversation is really gonna give you some insight into who Marques truly is. And huge thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this conversation. Let's get started. Pee-whoop!
I'm gonna use these just to get my levels. Like, is that a good distance?
Yeah, as long as you,
even...
oh yeah, you don't have to worry. Yeah, we keep it optional. That's why I got these, but then in all the videos, a lot of people are leaving comments that they think this is a hearing aid.
Yeah, or like one of those like pop star.
Yeah, at least I'm trying to be a pop star.
Yeah, it looks good. I got to wear one of those mics the other day that was like
the stage
Britney
mic,
Spears,
the TED mic. Where'd you wear it for?
I did it. I was at the Creator Summit like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
and
we were there together.
You were there, yeah. Okay, and it was like the best feeling. Like
yeah, that's right. You had the interview with Michelle, Ludwig.
Yep.
And I forgot who the
and a shorts creator.
And a shorts creator.
Yeah.
I love that we separate them.
Because it was like so many of the faces I'd never seen before, and most of them were shorts creators. And so it was like meeting all these new YouTubers.
Right.
Who just blew up. And you're like, okay, so what's your channel like?
Exactly.
Like, I've just done shorts for a year.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said that their strategy was. By the way, for folks who don't know, Creator Summit is basically where they bring in some of the top YouTube talent to learn how to make thumbnails, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a mix of
networking,
them talking to us, also talking to them, talking to each
feedback,
other. Yeah.
And this year, what separated it was our first year back since pandemic.
Yep.
And it was my first one, actually. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And a lot of new faces. So like, as you said, shorts creators, I would say I didn't know 75% of people.
Yeah, I've been to other years where it was like everyone, I know everyone. I watch a lot of YouTube, so I've seen everyone's videos. I've seen your videos. It's the Rhett and Links. It's a North American Creator Summit.
Sure.
I've seen people's videos. And then I'm like, I do watch some shorts, but there's a lot of people here who I've never seen before. And that was a pretty good like sign of the tide.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Are you scared of that?
No, it's more of like how do we work that? It's happening quickly, which is interesting, but I'm not scared of it as much as I'm like trying to figure it out, which is probably healthier. I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely a healthier approach. It's more constructive. YouTube, though, they like to create features and then abandon them.
Right, which is why you don't want to jump in.
Yeah.
If it gets, exactly. You try to like hear the YouTube people out and like listen to how strongly they're leaning into things. Oh, stories are a thing, wink, wink. You're like, all right.
They're like, post and people will sub to your channel. I'm like, but if they don't watch, what was the purpose of
That's always the pitch is like, oh, what do creators want? Views and subscribers? All right, well, just tell them that it will help with those things. But yeah, no, this entire Creator Summit, and I kind of knew it was coming, but like, TikTok, here to stay.
Yeah.
We saw Vine, we saw what that happened. Like some of these things are a little ephemeral, but like, shorts are here to stay.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a part. Are you curious how they're going to continue this quote unquote bridge of if people watch your shorts, they will also watch your long form content?
Very. And that's why I've started. Have you started doing shorts?
Yeah. I'll occasionally throw in a short.
Same. So like,
but you have a channel.
I have the main channel and I have a shorts channel, but I'm now starting to do shorts on the main channel. And I'm very curious. I'm like watching, I see the numbers. The weird thing I've noted, maybe it's not weird, but the like curve of a normal video, which is like first 3 days and then however long the tail is. And then the curve of a video that hits the shorts feed is like one of these. And you're like, well, okay, what happened here? What happened here? What happened here? And so I'm watching that. I'm watching to see how many people end up going from shorts to the main channel, different types of shorts. I think we're just trying to figure out how to make an MKBHD video, but shorter.
Yeah.
And so those people will actually want to see more videos.
Very true.
Instead of just like something throwaway. So
what was your concern starting a shorts channel as opposed to implementing shorts on the main?
My main philosophy of the main channel is I make videos that I would want to watch. And when I see,
you're like, I didn't want to watch shorts?
I just don't like watching shorts.
Okay.
Like I'm subscribed to lots of channels and then I see a short from that channel and I don't click it. I guess it's like a bit audience expectation. Like I go to, I might be subscribed to 300, 400 channels and like I know what I expect from those channels. So when I am expecting a 10-minute video and I get a 30-second video, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
But that's also how I felt about mid-rolls. And I enabled mid-rolls one day and nobody even said a word. And I was like, this is weird. Okay. 3 times the revenue. Fine. Okay. I guess that's fine.
Back to the interview in just a second. But first, I want to talk to you about NordVPN, a service that protects your internet connection and privacy online. Here's how it works. NordVPN creates an encrypted tunnel for your data, protects your online identity by hiding your IP address, and allows you to use public Wi-Fi hotspots safely. They also give you access to content from anywhere. For example, say you're visiting a country that doesn't have a streaming option for your favorite show or movie. Well, if you use NordVPN, you could set your location to a country that does have access to it so you can watch it right then and there. Nord is not just a simple VPN though, but it also offers threat protection, a malware blocker without additional costs for a limited time. With 5,500 servers across 59 different countries, you won't have any trouble finding one near you for the fastest connection or one far away to give you access to your favorite shows, movies, games, and other content. To get started, visit nordvpn.com/Dr. Mike. Remember, doctor is spelled out, and you could try it risk-free now with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's so easy and takes just one click. All right, let's get back to Marques.
But yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do shorts in a way that I think people who like MKBHD videos will also like.
The shorts.
Yeah.
I think you and I run into the same troubles because a lot of the content you make is obviously very technical. Mine is not as technical, but there has to be nuance in it.
Yeah.
Because with health, there's so many facts, but fact.
Yeah.
That it's hard to package something in 60 seconds and then make it buzzy without selling BS.
Right. So what is a Dr. Mike short versus a regular video then?
So what I've tried to do, and it's both been successful and then unsuccessful at the same time, is try to make less evergreen content in shorts where it's very quick. So let's say a trending topic appears. Mr. Beast got buried for 2 days.
Yeah.
What risks is he facing? Because that's not enough for a full YouTube video, right? But in 60 seconds, I could say, carbon monoxide poisoning from the fireworks going off, being worried in a closed space, where is he going to go to the bathroom, that kind of stuff.
Right. I had kind of the opposite approach, which is shorts, well, we'll find out, but like shorts might have a longer tail than a normal video. So maybe I'm trying to do even more evergreen than normal.
Oh, wow.
Like here's some tips and tricks for some devices you might have around, like your iPhone, your Nest thermostat, whatever.
Yep.
And then that is so non-time sensitive that it will live forever in shorts feed and just get served over and over. At least that's my theory, because tech videos have a short tail.
Yes,
usually.
I agree. That's worked, and it's actually tech related. I did a review about Apple Watches causing rashes on people's wrists on a short. Again, not something you would do in a long form video anyway.
Yeah, unless it's like real bad.
No, it's not. I mean, it's just like either a fungal or bacterial rash or something. So, because people just don't take them off.
Yeah. And my tan's not that bad anymore, but it was pretty obvious before. Yeah.
So I did that, and that has a really long tail.
That's longer tail because it's the watch, but it's just the watch instead of Watch Series 8 this year.
Which is hilarious, by the way. Series 8, 7. I'm like...
It's the same as last year.
Exactly,
again. But yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, I'm gonna experiment with it, see how it goes, adjust to audience reactions. So far, they've been pretty positive. I don't see any what I was expecting was people to go, "Oh no, you're making shorts. I hate this. Stop making shorts."
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that, so that's a good sign. So we're just gonna start seeing.
Yeah, the audience feedback seems really positive. It's all about that bridge. If it evolves for them to watch long form content,
right?
Because for you also have, it is your main business and it's a huge business. I've seen your studio on Colin and Samir's show. You're thinking about expanding after 2 years. So clearly business is going well.
Yeah.
What impact does shorts have on that expansion plan for you?
The fun part about shorts is the production lift is so low that it doesn't feel like it has that big of an input on what work we have to do. Like a main channel video might take a week. A short might take 4 hours. Like we think of a good idea at 9 o'clock and it's up by noon.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess if this is going to have a positive impact on the business, it's kind of a no-brainer. Let's just try it a few times. But yeah, no, maybe that means there's another editor down the road that just does shorts or something like that. I don't think we're not doing that.
Do you think it ever eats into the monetization of long form content?
Oh no, I think there's two pools of views. That's a good question. I think a lot of people are like, are shorts going to eat the pie that long form has built for the last 15 years? And I don't think so because, well, we'll see. But like TikTok has emerged out of nowhere and YouTube's still huge and still doing great. But like there's this new style of watching short videos and you can have that too. So I think it's just overall growth on top of growth. I don't think it's like, all right, if I do shorts and then I have to start winding down the long form videos or something like that. I think it's just both.
I'm hopeful that I think the short thing will always exist, but it won't be as hot as it is now.
That's fair.
Because I think people will crave that human connection of a longer piece of content.
I don't know. The attention span thing, though, is like, didn't we shorten everyone's attention span? Although videos have gotten longer on one hand.
Exactly.
But then like shorts are just so like instant.
The thing is, I'm going to go medical on this.
Okay.
The drugs that have the worst withdrawal are the ones people hate using.
Okay.
In that they want to come off of them.
Right.
Which is similar to, I think I've heard you say this before, or maybe we've said it in a chat and you were there, that people say they wish they could delete TikTok from their phone because it's so disruptive to their lives.
Yeah.
But no one says that about YouTube.
Okay. This is all true.
And the second thing that I feel contributes to this, more from a political stance, is everything behind the geopolitical sphere of TikTok, which is that it's based in China.
Right.
There's potentially some data concerns. Do you have any fear of that? Do you have TikTok on your phone?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And that is like a back of the mind concern.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like the format is what blew up. Like we had Vine and Vine was, I think we never got past 6 seconds. It was always 6 seconds, right? Okay, so we got 6 seconds, Vine blew up and the format was really cool and then it went away. But the format was still obviously hot.
In the minds, yeah.
TikTok comes up and like this discoverability, which is just like the algorithm learning you so well that you don't even search for videos on TikTok. It just finds you and you just scroll for a while. I think that has its own value that feels long-term to me. And there will always be a value to like, this is why I make YouTube videos, which is like, if someone is in a purchase decision and they need to like, all right, I'm going to buy a new phone. I need to go watch 3 or 4 videos on these phones to figure out what's good about them. I'm going to search and I'm going to watch, I don't want a 12-second video. I need to figure out what's worth the money.
Yep.
So I'm going to watch those longer videos and that has its own value. So it's not like the value of this increasing changes the value of the other thing. Both things will be real for a long time, I think. But we finally have an algorithm and a platform that's so good at it that it can finally start to get traction and blow up a little bit.
It is. You're right. It's very good at it. Like I've heard stories of people saying they've realized things about their sexuality after watching TikTok because it started showing them videos that they didn't expect to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that story of Amazon getting so good at recommendations that like a dad logged into their daughter's account and was like, why are you recommending pregnancy things? Nobody's pregnant. And it turns out they knew before the daughter did.
Oh, I didn't hear that. This? No, that's crazy.
I would think you would. Okay, so there, I'll explain a little deeper. Someone, obviously Amazon tracks what you buy and knows the habits and histories. It can figure out who you are based on what you buy. And so if you start buying certain like face cream or like things that certain like side effects of pregnancy might affect you in a certain way where you start buying things in a certain order, soon enough, it's like, you're going to need diapers in 3 months.
Dude,
like,
this is the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So the algorithms know you really well.
Wow.
So that's TikTok for you. TikTok figures out who you are and what you like and serves it to you.
Yeah. No, I think that is probably the best thing that TikTok has done to bring to our tech space.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of the short form content is not going to be here to stay in such a mega way. Because we already see with TikTok saying, oh, we're allowing 3-minute videos, maybe even longer videos. And now it's like, wait, are you YouTube now? Like, what are you doing?
Fair. I guess TikTok is not just short necessarily, but it's relatively short and vertical.
True.
And it's like, it fills up the whole screen of your phone and you don't search or hit a recommended thumbnail. You just
are
scroll
absorbed in it.
And it figures you out. So whether that's a minute or they realize, we can do that in 2 or 3 minutes, or now it's up to 10. I don't see that many 10-minute TikToks though.
Yeah, no, I don't either. And that's why I think it's not great to see a video in vertical that's longer than 60 seconds. Even like 60-second videos don't do well.
Yeah, you see the little thing scrolling at the bottom. You're like, how long is this video? All right,
you're like,
I don't need
You're
it.
like, just fast forward to the part.
Yep.
And also they, in making the longer form content, in making the shorter form content so valuable, they allow people who edit in a very specific way be successful because it's satisfying to the eye and mind.
Yeah.
Someone just asked me about a cooking channel that was getting mega views. And he's like, how in the world is this person getting views cutting up tomatoes?
Yeah.
And I'm like, honestly, it's the style of that edit, but that's going to get tiring to people because everyone's going to do it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I watched some TikToks too where I'm like, number one, I can tell that this is going to blow up. It's going to be popular. It's very shareable. It's in the moment. Great video. It's going to be successful. But at the same time, I watch it and I'm like exhausted by it.
Yes.
I'm like, geez, this is really fast. Like I can tell the attention span it's designed for is very short. So yeah, there is a little bit of a give and take there. I guess you can't always make TikToks the same way. But also something we've known about YouTube is that algorithm evolves over time. Like, and YouTubers chase this inevitably, but it's like, what is YouTube prioritizing this year or this decade or this period? And that could happen with TikTok too. They could figure out, you know, hey, it turns out we know people really well, but we also have better long-term stay on the site if we serve them more 10-second videos instead of less 45-second videos. So now suddenly 10-second videos do really well. And then you see way more 10-second videos. And then what happens to us and our brains? I don't know. But yeah, algorithms changing and then content changing around the algorithm is real. TikTok hasn't really been around long enough to see a shift like that yet. But right now, yeah, short videos, quick hitting videos, they hit real hard.
That's the McDonald's right now.
Yeah, it's the McDonald's, exactly.
That's doing well for human brains.
Yeah, it's the McGriddle.
What's your biggest problem with YouTube right now?
I've been pretty lucky to not have that many problems with YouTube.
Like monetization, age gating.
All great.
You're never gonna really run into an age gating issue on a tech review.
I make product videos that I don't curse in. They're PG. They're family friendly. They have a really consistent audience. Like I don't have too many problems with YouTube. And I lived through a lot of those like semi-apocalypse things that happen on YouTube where I'm like, oh, well, good thing I'm not making edgy videos or I'd be really screwed right now. No, I don't think I have any complaints, which sounds really...
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's great for this. Now I know why your business is booming and you need to expand.
And so I've built my business on it. It's great. Yeah.
And then, so where do you expand to? Like not physically, but...
Yeah. Well, so my videos are all tech products, but even inside of that, it's like gadgets, handheld stuff, and then like products around that. And I realized my interests are a little broader than that. So I'm like making videos about the edges of that stuff, like electric cars or like kind of gadgets on wheels, but separate channel because people expect car videos in one place. Let's just do them there. We have a podcast. It's a YouTube channel, but it's like, oh, now we get really into the weeds and it's an hour and a half. So it's a little different. So that's the expansion I'm thinking about. But I guess the like natural arc of someone who uses a lot of products and has a good context and feel for them is like, what if I made my own product and like compared them with the others that exist already? That would be cool. But that's down the road somewhere. So
okay, so product. I noticed you don't have a book out for a YouTuber of your experience.
I found that interesting. I don't fancy myself a writer.
Okay.
Well, I guess I technically write my videos, but like a book is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to do that right now.
Are you writing a book? Yeah. It's like I guess I could just write down the story of how I built what I built.
You can, yeah.
Or like an autobiography or something. But also mine is not that interesting.
I mean, it's pretty interesting and I want to get into that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's the part. I mean, I've seen many appearances that you've done on podcasts, watched your videos. Very few times do they get into the history of you, and you have a very interesting life. And also have a lot of similarities. You're right over the water in Jersey.
Yep.
Is that where you grew up?
Yep.
Oh, so I work in Jersey.
Okay.
So my hospital's in Summit, New Jersey.
Okay.
I've been there since 2014.
Nice.
And you're in what part of Jersey?
I'm in, so our studio's in Kearney, which is like It's like tucked near Newark Airport,
Okay,
basically.
got it.
And we can see the city from there.
Okay.
And then I've been in like North Jersey, living around Essex County, Bergen County.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And you are a professional athlete.
Yep.
I'm trying my hand at becoming a professional athlete.
Okay.
I have my professional debut boxing match in 10 days now, 12.
It's not a one-off? Are you going to keep going with it?
I've done one already as an exhibition and I really liked it. So
Okay.
hopefully fighting a UFC fighter will go well.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then I realized I should stick to my day job.
You get an instant like, do I like this or not?
Exactly,
moment. Okay,
right?
cool.
I felt like I might as well dive in. Like I could keep fighting YouTubers and all that, but
Yeah.
it's time to figure out, is this for real?
Is that so? This arc that I keep seeing of YouTuber going on to fight someone, can you explain this? Like, why did this become the sport that everyone decided?
That's a really great question.
I think there's something to the story of like, whenever I see fight promo from just fighters, they have to create a reason for them to fight.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why would I fight someone in real life? Oh,
Yeah.
you said something about my family or
Like
something.
fake beef, you
Yeah,
mean?
so they just
Okay.
make beef and then that sells the fight. And that's the best, Floyd sells fights because he's good at that.
Yeah, I feel like people took the page out of Floyd's book doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need to do that. That's sort of what I've been avoiding.
It seems like that's the reason why YouTubers pick that sport though.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Okay, yes. That they can,
Okay.
almost like, what is it called? Street beefs from back in the day.
Yeah,
where
like they have a built-in audience and they can create a beef and they can sell. Like we could do the same thing but track and field and less people would watch. It's like, oh, I'm so mad. I'm going to beat you in the 100-meter dash. Like,
Exactly.
that doesn't.
It's hard to talk smack in a race.
So I guess that's why.
That, and also I feel the successful people in the space were a little bit controversial.
Yep.
So people would watch them get knocked out.
That's true. That is another good point.
Yeah. I'm hoping people don't watch me for
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't do that. I run around and catch a Frisbee.
Yeah, but you're a champion this year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Undefeated.
Yes.
Dude.
So first of all, I need to make a video eventually explaining Frisbee because there are so many nuances that are hard to explain to people. Yes, we went undefeated in the pro season. So I play for a pro team.
Okay.
I also play for a club team in the same city by a different name with some of the same players.
Interesting.
That's hard to explain. They don't get paid, slightly different rules. One of them has spectators, one of them doesn't. But yes, the pro team New York Empire is the one that's easy to promo because it operates like a NBA team or something. And have fans, you have games to go to, tickets. And that was a great year for that team. So,
but not a great year for the club team.
a pretty good year for the club team
okay.
too. Lots of great players, but that season's actually not over yet.
Okay.
I guess by the time this airs, we will have our nationals, which is in a week from now. But it would be pretty sick to win club and pro. And actually, earlier this year was the World Championships for club that we also won. So New York's kind of a fire city to be an Ultimate player right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you got into that from high school days or college
Yes,
days?
high school.
Okay.
High school.
Your high school had a Frisbee team?
Our high school invented Ultimate Frisbee in the 60s.
You're
Yeah.
cheating.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Columbia High School, Maplewood, New Jersey. It's in the Wikipedia and everything.
Yeah.
Invented the sport. First game ever played. The inventors of the sport were inducted into the Hall of Fame like 2 years ago in the high school, which is amazing. And I got to be there for that. But yeah, when I got there, they had a varsity team, a junior varsity team, coaches, tournaments that they traveled to every week. It was just like any other team for a sport at a high school.
And then when did you become pro?
The pro league started in 2012,
Okay.
and I started in 2013.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, being a YouTuber in that league, do you ever pitch your sponsors for your YouTube channel? Be like, want to throw your name on my jersey or no?
No, it's funny. I keep the worlds completely separate.
Really?
Completely separate.
Okay.
It is a very left brain, right brain thing where, we're in our studio, we have our tech things that were going on and we do that. And then the weekend hits or, our night practice or whatever. And I just flip that side completely off. And I flip the other side on, which is, a more competitive, different version that gets to enjoy, teammates, like a sport and like all that stuff. And I never really cross those worlds unless there's like a video of a game that's worth watching, and then I'll try to grow the sport and share it in that way. But yeah, I don't really cross them too much.
What's been the feedback from your audience onto the sport? You think you've increased the viewership?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I think so. And I think the league realizes that it's a good thing that I do. Um, but I think it's positive because people want to see like what you do in the time that you're not also making, they just know you as the person in front of the camera.
Yeah, what's that like for you? For me, I'll just say people view me as the doctor of YouTube.
Right.
So they come for medical information, and I probably have less of a fandom than most YouTubers my size.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that same issue, or are your fans of you?
No, I agree. Same. I think tech viewers are generally a little more chill, a lot more at home.
Yeah.
I have this memory of an old creator summit where, they tell people, remember they're like, don't post on social media.
Yeah,
you don't want to know where. If people find out where we are, they're going to show up, right? Inevitably, someone does it every year. And we are at a hotel in Brooklyn. And I just remember like getting to the front door and I was going to take the Uber home. And I look out the door and there's just like 300 screaming 12-year-old girls just like, oh, we know somebody's inside. Lily Pons is in there, somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
And I definitely just like saw the Uber pull up behind them. I opened the door and I just walked right through the middle of them and none of them even blinked or even knew who I was. And I was like, that's perfect.
So
That's
you like it
perfect.
that way. You
I
like the separation.
That's great.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I think parasocial relationships are so hard to manage psychologically.
Yeah.
I'm scared of them.
Yeah. You got to manage what you share and like how much of it becomes a part of your online persona because people will latch on to anything.
Well, if you're leaning into parasocial relationships, you're sharing a lot,
right?
If not everything.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes tricky because it's when do you ask for time to yourself when they've signed up and you promised them that you were going to give them access 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry about those creators the most when it comes to mental health wise.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky in that as a product reviewer, I don't view myself as the star of the show. I think it's important that I'm giving you a look at the product and what it's like to own the product. And like the fact that my voice is palatable for someone to like understand all this stuff is great.
But okay.
But like the video's on the thing and you're here for the thing. So that's the pressure is actually on the tech companies to make cool tech products to get it on camera. I don't have to do too much.
Okay.
I just point the camera and I show you what I can find about it. But that's I think why I've been able to avoid the burnout that comes up like every time you talk to a creator, which is like, I'm doing so much, I'm sharing so much. The boundaries keep getting wider and wider and there's nothing left to myself. I set up those boundaries really early and I don't cross them. And I think that's because people aren't here for me. They're here for the thing that I'm pointing the camera at.
That seems like it's a very straightforward approach. Do you ever get like hate online for anything? Like people will say to me, oh, you're not a real doctor. You went to a shit medical school. Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like I did go to medical school, but you don't like the one I went to. Oh, okay. No, the hate that tech YouTubers get is, oh, you seem like you like this company too much. It's kind of like a sports team type thing.
Oh.
People take, and I would say irrational, but they take a very heavy exception to you saying negative things about the thing that they bought.
Love. Oh, okay.
Well, because they love the thing they bought. And in a lot of ways, a piece of tech is like the most personal thing that you buy. Like the phone you have in your pocket, you hold that thing every day, you use it every day. The way you use it is yours. No one else's phone is like yours. And so for me to come on the camera and say that there's bad things about it, it's like, that's my thing.
It's like talking shit about a friend.
Yeah. So people get really defensive and really into, I guess understandably, their personal choice of tech. So yes, I will sometimes get comments about, wow, I guess you really like Apple this week, or like Samsung didn't pay you enough to say nice things. Like it doesn't bother me because obviously I'm trying to be neutral about everything. But that is a classic tech hate comment is just, oh, how biased you look today.
Interesting. Do you ever doom scroll on Reddit?
Of course.
Is that like, do you hate it?
Reddit is fun because Reddit was one of the earliest tastes of comments I got from people who don't watch the videos. So I find that I get like decent feedback on stuff from people who watch the videos, but usually they're pretty positive. When a video blows up on Reddit, there's thousands of comments from people who've never seen your face before, and you get the most objective, honest feedback. And I don't know if it's doom scrolling or just me going, I never thought about that before. Like really useful comments.
Like what? Like what have you seen?
Just like the way a video is structured. I know I'm making it for YouTube, so it's like, I want to hook early in the video. I want to make sure I introduce the topic and design things this way. But then people will be like, wow, I like how he just like got right into it. I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. Yeah, I guess I don't have the normal like hey, what's up? Today I'm going to do this
Yeah.
and then go here and then this. I'm just like, here's the product. Let's get into it. So like things you just, don't really think of too much. I think the first time viewer is the most
Got it.
constructive.
I think for me on Reddit, I get a lot of people who've never watched my content and still don't want to watch it and just call me a douchebag. So that's where the trouble I run into doom scrolling.
I feel like my dream critique is just looking over the shoulder of someone who discovers a video for the first time and just watching them watch a video.
Yeah.
What did they pause on? What did they rewind on? Like I want to see a bunch of those examples. Because like
do some eye tracking on them.
Yes, please. I want to know all the detailed like data. Yeah, that I don't get to do that obviously, but maybe Reddit is the closest thing to it.
That's funny. You've interviewed some mega people. The late Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Presidents of companies. You're starting your own tech company right now.
Okay.
Who are you hiring to be CEO?
I can choose anyone?
Anyone.
I mean,
living or dead. Oh, wow. Okay, Apple Watch.
Google's got an answer.
Google.
Pixel Watch. Yeah, Pixel Watch has got not good answers though.
Wait, did it really hear me?
Yeah, it got part of what you said, and then it was Googling like companies. Anyone dead or alive, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about a lot of the business leaders you talk to is they can be nice people, but they have to be ruthless business leaders to get to where they are and to get the companies they run to where they are.
Was that a nice way of saying they're all douchebags?
No. They have to be a certain way to be successsul. But they're nice people
It sounds
on
like
camera. I'm sure there are people who work for them that feel differently about them than I do.
Fair.
That's probably where I'm going.
I agree, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's fine. So when I think of like who I'd want to run my company, it's probably someone like Tim Cook, who's just stone cold, like logistics guy who will just make it work, or like an Elon Musk who will just will it into existence by saying it on Twitter over and over until the engineers go, I guess we're doing it. That type of thing is.
So you want all or none leadership?
I want somebody who is into the products for sure. That's, I think, underrated. I think there's a lot of good business leaders who are good at running businesses, but not really into the products that they make, which is fascinating. I think I want a product person.
Okay.
And then, a ruthless business leader.
Okay. I'm going to flip it. Which one of the people you've interviewed would you want to box?
Would I want to box? I know who I wouldn't want to box.
Who don't you want to box?
Kobe. I would never want to.
Kobe's
He's
like 6'8".
Yeah.
Right.
Legend.
Or
And when I interviewed him, I was like a scrawny teenager who was just like, oh my God. Who would I want to box? Well, that's a loaded question. It's a bunch of really cool people. I think I could probably take Neil deGrasse Tyson.
We're going to set that up.
I could probably take him.
We're going to set that up.
Nicest guy ever, by the way. Probably nicest person I've interviewed.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
he's like
you set yourself up for this one. Who's the worst?
I'm not gonna box him, but like he's like the grandpa who like shows up at the Thanksgiving dinner and just has endless cool stories and like everybody loves listening to them. He's that for science. It's amazing.
I agree with that. I think he sparks natural curiosity. Even when you don't care about what he's talking about, which is rare.
Yeah. I got to do a masterclass and I watched his masterclass because he is just an incredible communicator of things. And the things that he's explaining are really hard to understand and then explain to people who don't know about them. So I love when he'll come on TV, him and Bill Nye, they'll get called on TV to like explain like, so what just happened with like hitting this asteroid out of space to like, what is even going on here? And he'll like sit back and he'll go, okay, well, you know about cars, right? And he'll just elaborately paint this picture for you and give you, and you'll look it up later, a very accurate scientific explanation of real like literacy. Like you get it now. And that is like awesome to me. I love that. That's my favorite thing.
I agree with you on that. You know, I noticed that you outsource somewhat your new ventures. Your podcast is with Vox Masterclass, not your own course. I guess it is your own course, but co-owned with Masterclass or co-produced with. Why do you choose to do that as opposed to doing it on your own with such a big team?
How big do you think my team is?
I have no idea.
So we have...
I would say like dozen.
It is exactly a dozen. Yeah. Well played.
Look at that.
Well played.
They taught me something in medical school.
It is... so my team is built around their functions, and they're all very good at like their functions and interoperability as a team to like run the channels that we run. So if we want to take on an extra project, the great part about the team is I can leave what we're currently doing with them while I go do that project instead of giving them extra on top of what we're already doing. So Masterclass is a good example. Like they came to me saying, we want to do this course and it's going to be about, talking on camera and like making videos online. And they were willing to work with me on the curriculum. And once we shot it, they edited everything. My team didn't have to edit. My team didn't have to shoot, light, produce, anything. So I think that was a win because I got to express and show what I wanted over there and then not give extra work to the team, and we can keep making stuff on the channel.
Got it.
So they're keeping the gears turning.
With everything else.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is I'm actively filming my own course for professionals, bankers, doctors, real estate agents who want to get into media, not just YouTube, but also television. And I debated going down the road of working with a partner.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I have so much of the equipment. I have a team. Maybe I can hire 1 or 2 freelancers to help with some of the load. Yeah. And I don't know if it's been the right move so far.
So you've done that. So I guess if you're getting through the production fine, then that's a win. The last step is like the distribution, which is like you have the channels for it, but do you want to put it on your channel? Do you want to make a new channel for it? Like those last few decisions that I didn't have to make are probably the hardest ones.
True. But
I feel like there are some shows and things that I participated in that I actually wish I had done with my own team because it would have been
like
better.
What?
Things like Retro Tech, which are like amazing productions and super fun to be a part of.
But huge for no reason.
Huge, yes, exactly. you probably have already seen the picture I'm painting, which is like, well, yeah, we could do this with our own team and it would be really good. Yeah. But here we are like shooting 6 weeks for 3 hours. So yeah.
That's tough because they have their own union rules and legal reasons for doing what they do. And I understand why they have to do that as a big company, but I think that's the beauty of what YouTube allows us to do, to function as small businesses that are way more efficient, which is kind of different than real business. Usually it's the huge businesses like Amazon that are efficient and the small mom and pop shops that struggle with efficiency. But here it's somehow the other way.
Maybe there's like a tipping point of like you start off really efficient because it's just you, and then the load becomes so much that like you can't divide your brain that many ways, and so you hire a team and then it's chaos, and then when you get a big enough team, it's efficient again. So there's probably like a dip in the middle where you're just figuring it out. Yeah.
It's funny because everyone on my team that's local, we have a few international people that work full-time on the channel.
Nice.
Everyone's 6'3", and you're 6'3".
Everyone's 6'3".
How
exactly
weird is that?
6'3"?
Exactly 6'3". Everyone in the room right now is 6'3".
Did that be... That's true.
How weird
did that
is
become... How did you figure that out?
That's not a hiring thing.
Yeah, like you just realized one day, like, so far everyone's 6'3". And did you add someone after realizing that everyone was 6'3"?
Yes.
And they happened to also be 6'3"?
Correct.
That's insane.
Right?
Whoa.
How weird.
So you guys could make like a pretty sick like rec basketball team or something.
Or Frisbee.
Or Frisbee team, exactly.
You could coach us up.
You
could be the coach at 6'3".
Yeah. I'd play.
No, we'd want you as the MVP. I mean,
someone
obviously.
would coach, but yeah, that's hilarious.
But yeah, I thought that was a random fun fact to share. Doing sports for so long, I've even heard you on another podcast talk about that you've probably done it too much at times, playing for 5 teams or something at once. What are your injuries like?
Good question. Yeah. The most common injuries in a sport like that are leg injuries. Hamstring. Mostly overuse. Yeah, like hamstring. I'm dealing with patellar tendonitis in my knee for a year. Exactly. Actually, well, I had a bursitis first because I hit it against the ground and the bursa knee stuff.
Was it very inflamed? Like a pre-patellar?
It did the golf ball thing.
Okay.
And then it was there for like a day, and then it still swells up every time I play.
Wow. Okay.
But then you have weird freak injuries. Like I broke my hand in college at practice, diving for a disc on the turf, and then like
caught
my finger, snapped it backwards. It was clean, super clean. So it was good for the surgery, but like sitting there like, oh, I don't like that at all.
Did you faint?
No, the closest I came to fainting was when they took the stitches out.
Really?
I did not like looking.
You should have come to my office. I would have done
taken
it
them
so
out?
easally. Yeah.
I mean, they sat me down and they did it, but like I was totally fine for the entire process until they took the stitches out.
But it hurt, or
No.
you were nervous about?
No, just looking at it.
Yeah.
Just looking at it. It was weird. The surgery was fine, no problem.
Wow.
I had a cool thing where I put my, X-ray is usually like a photo, but they had you've seen these machines where you like put your hand in and it's a live X-ray.
Yeah, like
And
a
I,
fluoro machine.
I'd never seen that before, and I like turned my hand and then I saw the X-ray turn.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah, we use those for spinal injections.
Live. Okay.
We also do it for stents. When we put stents inside the heart,
Right.
you use live imaging like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been pretty healthy generally, I think, for most of my career. I've had a long
That's awesome.
playing career for an athlete.
Yeah.
I've played since 2007.
That's a lot of years. It's 15 years.
A lot of running, a lot of calories.
And a lot of calories. Do you track that? Are you a tracker?
Oh, yeah. That's the whole, like, yeah. Every time.
What do you look at?
It just gives you like total calories, max heart rate, average heart rate, like the basics.
What's
It's just
your
a
average
HIIT
heart
workout
rate?
the whole time.
In like a
I
workout.
kind of want you to guess. It's like
Well, tell me your resting and then I'll guess.
my resting is normally 50,
Okay. You're
and then I sleep and it's 40.
friggin' great shape.
Yeah.
How long are your workouts?
A practice is a workout. A practice is 3 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot of calories.
Yeah.
A lot of tracking.
Average heart rate 138.
Yeah, it's really good again. Like 145.
Okay.
Yeah. My max though will be like 199 sometimes, and I'll be like, oh, I wonder if I could get 200 again. I've never gotten 200.
Wow.
I've gotten 199.
That's high.
Many times. That's pretty high.
So I have the opposite problem. My heart rate naturally runs a little higher.
Mhm.
And in my workouts, I get it up to 208.
That's for your age is extremely high.
Terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Is
mean,
that
like I'm
bad
basically
that
having
it's-
a heart attack. So it's weird because by textbook, it's bad,
Yeah. But you
I
just have a
feel
crazy
okay.
motor of a heart,
I guess.
hummingbird heart.
Yeah. It's this is why medicine sucks for how awesome it is.
Yeah.
Because, textbook wise, we say it should be 220 minus your age. That is your max heart rate,
Okay.
generally speaking, which would put me at 188.
Okay.
I'm going to 208. Technically, that's unhealthy and I'm overstraining my heart.
Right.
But I feel fine
Yeah.
and I can keep that rate up for 5 rounds, 3-minute rounds.
But you said your resting is also high.
My resting's high, like it's just not as low as yours. It's like in the 70s.
Yeah, I get notifications. I guess the way they calibrate the watch is like
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out like, all right, what are we going to notify people of like weird events or things like an arrhythmia? We'll tell them about it. And they decided that if you have your heart rate under 40 for like a certain number of minutes in a row, they'll send you a notification.
Yeah.
So every night I wake up with like 10 Apple Watch notifications.
Yeah.
Like, hey, your heart rate's kind of low. And I guess
But that technically and statistically means you'll live longer.
sick.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
So,
I like that.
that's
I like
awesome.
that. Sounds good.
I hate what Apple's doing with the heart rate thing.
What are they doing?
Well, like with the ECG and the notifying people of things like that.
How they paint it as like a medical device, you mean?
Yes, but it just more so how they present it to the general public because people think it's like a true checkup almost.
Oh, interesting. They're like not going to a cardiologist.
Or they
Okay.
are because they think they've been diagnosed with
Oh,
something.
that the watch is the be all end all thing.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So like I look at the EKG and they show these features and everyone's excited about it. And then I have patients coming in and they're like, my watch said I had 3 seconds or 5 seconds of atrial fibrillation and
Yeah.
they're 25 and healthy and exercise. There's no playbook for what to do with that because our info on how to treat atrial fibrillation is what's the age of the patient? How long has it been? Do they have symptoms with it? And I have 5 seconds of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do I do with it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing in the tech world that comes up a lot now is they have all these features and they'll like help you out with things, or even they have this like crash detection now, fall detection.
Yeah.
And so they paint it kind of like if you don't have this watch, you might miss something.
Yeah.
Which might be true. And there are cases of it finding things, which is cool, but it's like relax.
That's
Like,
a
it'll be fine.
psychological trick they're playing on you.
Yeah.
Because if you, being a doctor and knowing the risks people face just by being alive in a city like, let's say, New York,
Mhm.
that risk that you're worried about with the watch is so small that it shouldn't play a role in your mindset at all.
No.
But they make it seem
The commercials.
like the commercials are
Yeah.
like, ooh.
Yeah.
But now they're going off on roller coasters, I hear, and stuff.
That's a funny thing. Yeah. Yeah. The crash detection now, it's supposed to be really good. Like the crash detection will know if you're going a GPS speed that seems like you're in a car and then you suddenly stop and the barometer picks up a pressure change, meaning the airbag near you went off. And the microphones pick up a loud noise, meaning you probably were in a collision. They put all this information together and go, that's a car crash. And they will call 911 on your behalf. And that's amazing. And you think, wow, they've factored in so many things that there's no way it would ever accidentally go off. And there's even reviews of people trying it, which is weird. They'll like crash a car on purpose and like, did it go off? Oh, it worked. And it would go off. And it's like amazing. But it turns out, yeah, roller coaster is the perfect combination of most of those things happening. Yeah. Sound, speed, stopping quickly. Maybe the pressure even changes with the wind or something. And then it just, theme parks getting in 911 calls for some reason.
What's your favorite feature of these wearables?
I guess really just the fitness tracking. Like I've become a little bit competitive with like tracking the calories and like, hey, teammate, how many calories did you burn? How many did I burn? Is it more than you? All right, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, do you think that's healthy?
No, I do not.
No, I'm not
under any illusion.
I'm not judging.
No, it's not. I mean, it's
fun. It's a fun thing.
It is. Yeah. I went through a period in college, basically all of college, where I was like, I need to gain as much weight as possible, like strength, lifting, all that stuff.
Did you go to GNC?
No.
Oh, that's what most people in Jersey and New York did.
Oh, the gym?
Well, no, the GNC, like the vitamin stores. And they're like, I need a weight gainer.
No. I went straight to like Reddit hacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can tell it didn't go great.
Bro Science 101.
Yeah, which was just like calories in must be higher than calories out and just keep going. And so like the calorie counting and general information you get from the watch is like better than ever now, which is great. I just kind of like to set it and forget it. I went through a stage of like logging every single meal and everything you input, which is kind of really hard and unrealistic.
Yeah.
To just like trusting it and getting cool information and like a sleep score.
Don't you also feel once you've done the logging of the food for 2 weeks, you kind of know?
Yes, but then I inevitably want to game it. I'll get through a week and I'll be like, here is how many I averaged this week. I wonder if I add a scoop of peanut butter and a banana every night, how much it'll go up by. And then I start putting that in the app and doing that. And I get into it. I don't know why numbers make me want to get competitive.
No, that's fun. And I see that happen a lot, people gamifying it. And I think that's a fun way to think about your health, as long as it's not in an unhealthy sense.
Yeah.
Steve-O was on the podcast last week and it logs his meditation days. And he says, I couldn't give a shit about meditation, but logging it, oh, that feels so good.
Yes. This is what Apple got right with the rings.
Yes.
Just closing the rings is the simplest thing.
You don't understand. My friends will sit on my couch while we're hanging out. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't like that.
What are you doing?
Stand up, get the real movement. It's about getting the real movement in. Yes, I see people do that too. I did recently discover you get the standing hours thing going and get like 12 standing hours. And then
I know what you're going to say.
You can saw this already. So
I follow you.
25 standing hours.
Yeah.
How did I get 25 standing hours? I flew backwards 3 time zones and I stood up every hour. And I didn't just do this on the plane. I stood up and walked to the bathroom and walked back every hour.
Which is healthy to do on a plane.
Exactly.
Because it prevents the likelihood of developing a clot.
That's the point, hopefully. So when people stand there like this, I hope they realize they're not getting it.
They don't care. They love it. And I look at it from a doctor's standpoint. And I'm like, okay, is this healthy? And I try and zoom out of it. And initially it sounds unhealthy, but then if it's leading to healthy behaviors, I feel like I should adapt and say it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's tough in that sense.
Yeah.
Do you game in general?
A little bit.
What do you game on?
I do some console gaming and a little bit of phone gaming. I really don't game that much.
What's your game on console?
NBA 2K.
Okay.
And then a little bit of whatever the newest PGA Tour game is. I got to get 2023 is coming out like now.
Okay.
So whenever I get that, I'm playing that. But I generally don't. I have like a existential like moment where I like realize that I'm just sitting on a couch looking at pixels and I'm like, I got to get up. Like, I got to do something. This is just too much sitting. So I don't game that much, but yeah, a little bit.
I like Overwatch, Apex. I play
PC
those
games.
No, I play them on console.
Okay.
I'm one of those.
That
everyone makes fun of me.
I was more of a PC gamer in the past, and that was way more intense. I played a lot of racing games. I love racing games.
Okay.
So Need for Speed, Forza Horizon, Gran Turismo, those, Dirt even. But I don't play it as much as I wish I did.
Busy or?
Yeah, just busy. Yeah.
What's like your day like? Do you look? I feel like you never really talk about your personal life. What do you do?
Normal day is pretty boring. It's mostly
Is it boring to you, or you think it's boring to what you?
Well, it is pretty sick. The logistics are just like boring. Like okay, I wake up at 7. I go through I start my day without my phone. That's maybe different.
Wow.
Yeah. I try.
You might be the only person that I've ever heard say that.
I try to start my day, but so my watch wakes me up. It like taps me on the wrist.
So that's a phone.
Well, I don't like doom scroll.
Oh.
This is I'm trying to avoid scrolling in the morning.
Okay.
So the watch taps me, so I stop that, feet on the floor, get out of bed, don't touch the phone. Go through the day, I have breakfast every day, and then I like get to the studio, and then I'll check my phone. We go to the studio. We all work in this video studio that we've made, and that's super fun. No days like really the same as the last. We have production days, pre-production days, writing days, podcast days, whatever stuff's happening there. And then I go home and I will try to get a workout and a meal in whatever order works, and then try to be asleep by midnight and then do it again. Now, if I have practice,
Okay.
I have to leave the studio, change, go home or whatever, get all my stuff, and then go to practice. And then we'll have a 3-hour practice and then come home. And then it takes me forever to fall asleep because the adrenaline is still like slowly coming down from practice.
And I heard on another podcast that you said you struggle with falling asleep.
It takes me a long time to fall asleep.
And you have to be exhausted, right?
Yeah, basically. I don't know if to me, it's like there's two types of people. You either fall asleep in 3 seconds or you fall asleep in 30 minutes. And I'm the 30 minutes type.
Okay.
And I know a lot of 3 seconds types, and I'm very jealous. It's like a superpower.
It is.
Are you
I think there's a spectrum. It feels like there's two people.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I'm somewhere in between depending on what's on my mind. Like last night, I was sparring this morning, like probably my heaviest preparation for my fight, which is 6 rounds of sparring for this morning with 3 different fighters. So basically someone comes in fresh every round.
Nice.
And that caused some anxiety, I guess, for me last night. I couldn't fall asleep to save my life,
Yeah.
even though I know I needed to.
That's probably common. Like if you know something's coming up the next morning, then that affects your sleep the night before.
It's like Christmas
Pretty
Eve.
classic thing for me is like, I have a flight at 5 a.m. I will wake up once every hour and think about missing my flight.
Yes.
Classic.
Where is that coming from?
It's just like, did my alarm go off? Or am I just like, because it only has to happen once. This happened to me in like a pre-college program where I had like a final exam at like 9 a.m. at Carnegie Mellon. And I remember waking up and like looking over, seeing that I had somehow stopped my alarm in my sleep.
Wow.
I had had a late night studying. I had like apparently woken up, snoozed it, stopped it, and gone back to sleep. And I like woke up in the middle of the exam and I was like, oh no.
So what happened?
So I went in, I walked across campus, did the walk of shame, walked in and said, I'm here. And they were like, you'll take it later. And I just went back to the dorm. But that only has to happen once before
You develop
now
PTSD.
you develop this like, I must check to see if I have overslept my alarm.
Yeah, I have the same thing. That really says you're a good human if that's your concern. Like when I used to go to sleep and I was younger in college days, my fear was I started like a nightmare I had that I started smoking and my dad was yelling at me like cigarettes.
Specific dream.
I mean, something of that benign nature where it's like I started some habit and my dad's just tearing into me.
Yeah.
Or I overslept.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, what? You're lazy.
Yeah.
So I kind of had this Soviet Russian.
I do like having the school dream and then waking up and realizing I'm graduated and I never have to do that again. That's kind of good.
Yeah.
I'll have like a oh my God, I didn't do my homework nightmare. And I'll wake up and be like, oh, nope. And just go back to sleep. That's a good one.
Okay.
I do like that one.
That's a pleasant dream.
Yeah.
What was your upbringing like with parents?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Strict, not strict, open to you following your passions?
Definitely. I think, I don't know, like I don't have enough context of other people's parents, but from the stories I hear, I feel like my parents were a good level of strict on certain things and open to you exploring on other things. So I traveled a good amount but it was like traveling for school. So I was like, yeah, get on the plane by yourself, but also you're going to go take some college classes while you're over there. Like that type of thing, like explore your passions, of course. We only had one TV in the house, limited TV hours, no game consoles the entire time I lived there.
Wow.
I never thought that was weird until I got to college and I was like, oh, I can just get an Xbox now. This is crazy. I'll do it.
So you didn't go to your friends' houses at that time?
I did.
Oh,
And that was
they
like,
had them.
yeah, my friend had an Xbox, so I'd go to my friend's house and we'd play Xbox or go play outside or something. But it never occurred to me that it was unusual until people started asking me, oh, what was your first game console? Oh, a PS4. What? What? That was my upbringing. But I think it was a good, healthy mix of appropriate boundaries.
Yeah, good tweaking.
Yeah.
Because I feel a lot of times folks fall into two groups, like heavy authoritativeness or lax do you. Kind of a lot of freedom.
Yeah, you might need a little bit of both.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think my dad set up the like discipline is key type thing where like you realize that if you are disciplined and you actually work on things, you can reap the rewards from it. And that turned out to be very true.
Do you think our generation / YouTube in general, the people on YouTube, are less disciplined?
Than previous generations?
Than the way you've been raised?
I think so. And I think that also, it's not even like that they don't realize it. It's just that people don't want to live the boring, like I didn't really go out ever. I didn't really go to parties or have like a ton of friends or social groups or things to do when I was younger. So I like had this built-in discipline that I found fun, but that was just like what I was into. So yeah, probably. I think I was probably more disciplined.
So it gives you a better edge, you think?
Yeah. And it's funny because in this like tech world, like especially this time of year, there's so many things to do. There's things coming out. It's like before the holiday season, all gadgets must be on shelves. So like constant stuff to shoot. And so I find that I am able to like really commit to a certain amount of work and like just be okay with an amount of like overwork that comes with it. Like my sleep score is pretty bad lately.
Well, I'll score it. How many hours a night are you sleeping?
Honestly, 5 hours last night. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's
pretty
terrible,
good,
man.
Well, that's pretty good for me.
That's not good.
What is good? What is good? Because like I said,
minimum 7.
Minimum 7. I don't even. That's midnight to 7 a.m.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. I set the goal to 7, and then the sleep score turns out is like your percentage of your goal that you hit. So I keep getting like 75, 82. That's like my usual.
Maybe set your goal to 8, and then you could bump
8
yours.
hours. Wow.
Bump yours. No, the reason I say it is there's legitimate scientific proof on this amongst all other things that we talk about in medicine, where I can definitively say when you consistently sleep less than 6 hours a night, even your white blood cell counts fall, like which are your immune cells. Specifically, they're called natural killer cells,
right?
Where they drop and they fight off cancer, they fight off infection. They don't just drop in number, they drop in their efficacy of how well they work too.
Yeah.
So that's like
scary. I'm like, I have that low heart rate, which is good, and I'm gonna last a long time, but then I'm also like slowly murdering myself by not sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But is it because you go to sleep late that happens?
Yeah. I have a hard time falling asleep unless I'm really tired. So I just like work until I'm tired.
Yep.
And then I wake up I think I start my day normally. So it's usually the end of the day that just drags on basically. But I don't know. I'm fine with it.
Are you doing your phone at night as well?
Yeah, I think that's probably hard to stop, but it also clearly affects how fast you sleep. Like the bright light, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you have a lot of bright light.
Well, yeah, bright light and blue light specifically will affect your melatonin, the sleepiness hormone. So that can improve. And also the consistency. I don't know what your consistency of not just the number of hours, but the set hours are very important.
Right.
It's like the whole notion of, I'll sleep less during the week and I'll catch up sleep on the weekend is actually not true.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Your body needs that consistent hours.
Yeah. And even a lot of these phones and tech coming out have like a nighttime mode, or like they'll put it to grayscale or like turn it orange to like get less blue light in your eyes. But I'm also like editing videos. So like I can't set it to be orange because then I'm messing up the color. So like I don't really get to use those features.
True.
But yes, I should use my phone less close to going to sleep. Theoretically, that would help.
So you said when you were younger, you didn't party or go out. Are you doing that these days?
No.
Never been your lifestyle.
I find it a waste of my own time. I don't find it fun. If I found it fun, I would want to be finding
Have you done
time
it
to do
and hated it? Or?
Yeah, like twice is all it took for me.
What?
To know. Terrible.
Twice? And you had 2 shit nights out and you're like,
No,
that's
yeah,
it.
I remember. Basically, no, I had my first CES.
Okay.
I was 17 in Las Vegas.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So I was getting taken around in a group. And so the group, of course, it's Las Vegas. We're going around to a bunch of stuff at night. And then like the last stop was like a club. And I was like, by the way, how old is everybody here? And I was like, I'm 17. And they were like, oh, you can't be here. And they sent me home. And so like on the way back, I'm like seeing all this stuff. And that's Vegas. So like that's not even a normal night. But that's one version of that.
Wait, so what did you see on your way back?
I mean, it's you. I didn't take an Uber. I walked like through the strip.
You saw people struggling.
Yes.
Throwing up, sick, puking.
Bad
all
time.
this stuff. Okay.
Also,
that's the worst place to get a good vision.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I got the extreme there.
Okay.
I don't know. It only takes like 3 attempts to like realize you're not in. I'll try anything 3 times. And like, if it's not great the 3rd time, it's like, not for me.
It's very structured. I like it.
Yeah.
Do you have close friends or do you have a lot of acquaintances? What's your like strategy on that?
I have a lot of acquaintances, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like a go-to person?
Not really. No. But I mean, we have a lot of people ask about like the studio, like what's the hierarchy like? But I feel like it's more like I'm like at the hub of the wheel and like everyone talks to everyone, but also everyone has to talk to me. Like we have this structure that just works, which is cool. But yeah, Frisbee teammates is like my friends, basically.
Got it. I feel like happens in your 30s is you start losing track of your high school, college friends, and then your friends turn to be who you work with.
Right.
So I don't know if you've experienced that. I have.
So my only friends from high school, my Frisbee teammates.
Okay.
And so those are the only people I talk to at all. And actually, there's a alumni game every year in the parking lot where the sport was invented, where we all play. The current team plays the alumni team. It's a whole thing. But that's where we catch up. I don't go to high school reunions. And then, yeah, it's like a couple people from outside of school and then mostly just work.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever run into the problem of looking over your shoulder competitively on YouTube from other tech YouTubers?
Not really. It probably...
Because there's only so many iPhone reviews videos or
True.
tech review videos that you can do.
True. Yeah. There is kind of a fun landscape in the tech world where there is a lot of like camaraderie because we all see each other a lot. If you go to like a new Pixel Watch event or Apple event or Samsung event,
You're all there.
Like we're all there. We're all seeing each other. We're all, oh, I'll hold the camera for you for the shot if you need it. Oh, can you be in the background of my shot? Can you hold this up? I'm going to get a shot of your wrist with the watch on it. Like we're just working together anyway. And we'll collaborate with each other. So it doesn't feel like there's like people ask about rivals and like who would you box? Like we're all pretty chill. It's pretty cool.
Do you feel like you guys have established an OPEC mafia style thing where you don't allow new people in?
No, I would hate that. I would hate that because I know that I would hate that group if I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
No.
But
it's also like it kind of in the tech world creates itself. Or I guess the companies create it because they choose who gets devices when they ship it early to someone for a review. You know about like embargoes and like sending things early.
Yeah.
So like that's a distinct group of people who get to participate in that versus people who are after that buying retail devices maybe and that whole thing. It's not like we're gatekeeping it and like keep making sure people don't get in. That's not up to us, but that does feel like 2 distinct groups in a way.
Yeah, because that is going to be a vastly different view count if you're buying it retail versus getting it early.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been my world for so long that it almost just like I've gotten used to the fact that that's what happens. But I do have to step back every once in a while and zoom out and look at the whole landscape, which I don't know if that's looking over my shoulder, or if it's just like familiarizing myself with the landscape on occasion.
Do smaller YouTubers hit you up and ask you for intros to the brands?
No, not for intros to the brands. I guess the brands kind of just know what they're into. And each brand does have like its own distinct taste. Like I do recall that I was the first YouTuber to be invited to an Apple event, which was many years ago. And then a few years later, there was 4 YouTubers. And then the next event, there was a dozen of us. And then so slowly I can watch them create their taste of like what types of videos and types of channels. When they did the Apple Watch Ultra, they had the sort of general group of YouTubers, but then I could also see like, oh, they brought TikTokers who do fitness TikToks. And I was like, oh, this creator thing is like really coming together, which is super cool to see. But I kind of feel like I helped open that door a little bit. So now we're all on the other side of that door.
Well, you're the OG. And a lot of OGs over the time, I'd say the last 2-3 years, have struggled on YouTube, but you haven't. I mean, you're killing it. Why do you think that is? Is it burnout?
Yeah, maybe some of the OGs. So I assume some of the OGs you're referring to are not doing product videos. They're doing either skits, or comedy, or things where it sort of depends on their own creative output.
True.
And I think that's a pretty big difference between me and those others. I think if you even look at some of the other older tech channels, we're all still making videos in some way. What type of video we're making might depend a little bit. I think you could still get burned out, but it's going to be really hard for me to get burned out. I just like tech a lot. I'm such a like kid in a candy store it's kind of the dream job. Like a FedEx guy shows up pretty much every day to our studio with something in it that's cool to see.
That's really cool.
That's amazing. I don't really get.
Do you have a relationship with your driver?
I know him pretty well. Yeah.
Oh, really?
The UPS guy and the FedEx guy. So we have a new FedEx guy, and first time he came to the studio, he was like now he like honks the horn as he drives by, like, yo, what up? I can see him now. UPS guy asked me about the new phones as he's delivering them. He's like, have you heard about the new iPhones? I'm like, yeah, I heard about them. Yeah. They seem pretty crazy.
Here you are.
I'm not allowed to say I have them, but like, yes. So we know the drivers now.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How do you balance, because this is something I've had to maintain very strict rules with in doing a medicine channel, in not doing things that might corrupt my medical ethics.
Right. For
you as a tech review channel or product review channel, how do you make sure that if you accept money from a brand, you don't play favorites?
That's everything. I think the first thing is we typically don't do sponsored stuff with a brand whose products we also review. So there's like 30 companies, let's say, who make products that I review right now. It's the car companies, but it's also like Google, Amazon, Meta, Apple, Samsung, whatever, a bunch of companies. So we typically don't do sponsorships with them. Wow. And then even if we do, it might be some like tangential or like related product. So Samsung makes phones, we review their phones. They made a crazy 55-inch Odyssey Arc gaming monitor that we did a sponsored bit with because it was cool. And I think the key is just telling truth always, no matter what. Because if you even seem like you're not, that's easy for someone to point to and be like, oh, well, he did the sponsored thing, so now he's lying. So I think, yeah, my depth of testing and research and figuring out the truth about products is everything I do. That's what I have to be best at, no matter who we do sponsored stuff with.
Do you ever worry that if you say something negative about, let's say, an Apple, they'll give you a little bit less access or maybe not give you that big interview?
I hear about this sometimes, and I don't know. At this point, it's fascinating the position that I am in because I've done like videos, and I've even done interview with an exec. I was the first YouTuber to interview Craig Federighi at Apple, and then I did it again a year later. And then the next year, I didn't interview him, but 12 other YouTubers did. I was like, that's interesting. I wonder where they got that idea.
Were you pissed?
Not really, but I was just like, I did it the year before. I was fine. Okay. I did my interview, but it was just funny. Like they got that idea and they realize how well it works to work with creators. So I don't see a world where I tell the truth about the new iPhone and Apple goes, oh, we can't have this guy reviewing iPhones anymore because that just looks bad to them. Apple looks bad. If I lied or something or did like an unfairly bad review, then I could see that. But my goal is always to be telling the truth. So in this crazy, bizarro world where I review the new iPhone very fairly and I say some good things that were good and I say the bad things that were bad, and Apple goes, we didn't want you to say the bad things, and they cut you off, that's insane. That should never happen.
Well, that like by FTC rules can't happen, right?
I don't know about FTC rules.
Well, because technically if they're giving you a product, that's a form of sponsorship, and then you have to be honest.
Right.
So they can't tell you to not say something. That's against the rules.
Right. There are certain written rules for sure about like disclosing when you have a relationship with the company. So yeah, every time they send a product, it's always disclosed. Anytime they paid, if a company is a sponsor, that is disclosed in a different way. But I don't know if they can prevent you from saying what you want to say. I mean, if you have a relationship and a contract, if here's what you're going to say in this video, then yeah, that's the contract.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like we say what we think makes a good video. And if you don't like it, then we'll go buy it later and just make the video anyway.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Do you think you can tank a release of an upcoming device on your own?
So the thing about tanking a release is if I say that many bad things about it, which I'm about to publish the review of this watch.
Uh-oh.
Listen.
Uh-oh.
If I'm going to say that many bad things, that means other people are reviewing the same product as me, and they're going to find those same things to be true. Okay. So I don't feel like this weird responsibility of like, if I say the bad thing, I'm going to tank it. No, if it's bad, it's bad. Everyone's going to know it's bad. But I have seen reviews specifically need to be addressed by the companies, which seems like particularly touchy because, oh no, he's the only one that found that issue. Now, what's going to happen next time he reviews the product? I just have memories of like a Chromebook that I reviewed that it didn't deserve to exist. It was awful. it was the baseline like Celeron version of a Chromebook that was just unbelievably bad. And I reviewed it and it was like off of the store a week later. Like they discontinued that version of the product. And I was like, good. It was bad. Anyone who bought it had the same experience as me and that was terrible. But no, if it's bad, everyone's going to know it's bad. It won't be my fault.
In watching other people's reviews of the same product, do you find that largely y'all have the same talking points or you have different takes than most?
I think we'll all sort of dance around the same set of points, I think. Like when you're going to buy something, you want to know certain things. I think we all have the same core points. What's the battery life like? How good is the screen? What's the software like? Are there bugs? Is it going to die? Is it built well? Around that, I think everyone has their own angle. Whether it's like a day in the life or like I have a kid that's going to throw it across the room. Is it durable? I am a runner. Is it going to survive like an extreme hike or something like that? I think everyone has different angles and ways. I kind of think of myself as like the like general guidelines. Like I'll hit every normal point you need to know for the gadget. And then I have my other angles of like Frisbee maybe or like, I don't know, gaming a little bit, but not too
or
crazy.
Tracking.
Or yeah, competitive number tracking. I'm in there. But yeah, it's usually pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yeah. What are you watching these days on YouTube?
A little bit of everything. I'm watching more car videos than usual. I've noticed that.
What's your favorite car right now?
There's a lot of answers.
I love cars.
There's a lot. Do you love?
I'm not big on electric cars. It's a little bit of a newer market for me.
Yeah.
But the last 20 years of cars, I've been a big overseer of.
Cars
secretly.
The last like 5 years of cars has been very interesting.
Very interesting.
Because everyone's lining up to make their first EV. And like, that's a big deal for these companies. Like Tesla's out here, the markets are shifting. Okay, what's your competitor going to look like? And each one that comes out is fascinating to me. Like Volkswagen made an ID3 and ID4. And to me, they were like toasters. They were like so boring.
Okay.
Super simple.
Nissan Leafs.
The Leaf was just
I guess I haven't used it. Whatever you.
i3s are cool.
Yeah.
i3s are fine. I think that's a good commuter vehicle.
Okay.
I tested a Mini Cooper S that was electric, had 100 miles of range. I would never buy it for myself because I do road trips for Frisbee. But as a commuter vehicle in New York, that thing's sick.
Okay.
You can park anywhere. But I'm a sports car enthusiast, so I got really into like the smaller, more nimble ones, and that's cool. I am desperately waiting for some good two-door EVs because there's not that many right now.
What do you drive now?
My daily is still the Tesla Model S, which is a big car. I don't want to have a big car, but I'm so into the performance that I can't put it down. So that's the one. But I don't know. It's just fascinating seeing. What have you tested any EVs or tried any?
I've EV wise, I've only driven a Tesla 3.
Model 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it the performance one?
No.
Okay.
It was my dad's girlfriend. So
you should just for kicks do a test drive of the Plaid.
Yeah.
And they're going to tell you to floor it, and you should really pin it, and it'll change your life. It's going to change your
I
life.
believe that it will.
Yeah.
There's something about a traditional engine that still gets me excited.
Oh, I see.
I'm one of those.
I know where you're coming from.
And I'm not even saying it because like I'm trying to be masculine.
No, there
about
is
it.
something.
It's something I feel. I can't even describe it.
Okay, so I have a relationship with Top Gear where they send a new car roughly once a month for me to do a column on, and I do a column, but I also might do a video on it. And they're more open to like, maybe it's electric, maybe it's a hybrid, maybe it's just a cool high-tech car. And every time it's a gas engine powered car, I get it. Every time I get it. Like there's a feeling, there is a mechanical satisfaction to a lot of these things that I really appreciate. But to me, it does feel like it's bordering on novelty, where it will eventually feel like the older enthusiast legacy thing, where I think a lot of people will be totally fine with a silent, soulless toaster on wheels that just gets them from point A to point B. And it's funny because so many of these companies started with a performance EV, but performance people are the ones that like the engine.
Yeah.
So that's like a weird place to start.
Yeah.
But you got to be at a certain price. So
And it makes headlines.
it makes headlines.
Oh,
when
look,
it's
we're
good.
faster than XYZ.
Yeah. I'm testing the Lucid Air soon.
Okay.
Which is funny because I tested it like 5 years ago when they were in prototype stage.
Yeah, weren't they delayed like crazy? I went into
Very.
a store in Florida, I think they have there.
Yeah.
In
So
Miami.
they're starting to ship them, and they're like a huge luxury sedan, which
Yeah.
is cool. But they also have 1,000 horsepower for some reason. Why? I don't know. Because they can. Electric cars can. You just got to
Yeah.
do something different, basically. So yeah, there's a fun overlap, and I think the performance cars are where you see the most contention. But yeah, the Nissan Arias of the world.
I don't even know what that is. What's a Nissan?
It's like picture the Model Y,
Okay.
but by Nissan.
Okay.
And then picture that, but by like every other company, the Volkswagen. That's the ID4.
Okay.
Or the one that I really like is a Hyundai Ioniq. It's
I feel like I
basically
just
the
saw
same
one of
thing.
those on the street the other day.
You start
It's
seeing
cool.
them. Yeah, they're pretty popular now. And that's the thing that USA loves is the nice little crossover or something like that. So that's what a lot of EV makers are making here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love sports cars. I used to have an R8 Spider, and then
That's an engine.
yeah, it was V10.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I love that car. But then I got my big dog, and I just felt bad sticking him in the front seat.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I have the Lambo Urus truck.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think, oh, I'm in a Lamborghini. It should be really fast. But then like your car will smoke me.
Yeah.
So it's
funny.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's the one funny part about EVs is like the highest end, fastest EVs are all faster than their equivalent at the same price in a gas car. Like the Plaid is the fastest production car ever made, and it's 150 grand. It smokes $2 million cars regularly.
Yep.
That's weird.
Mhm.
And it's a family sedan. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. But I think the Tesla Model S is one of the best overall daily drivers because the things that you really like about a car after the performance, which are just like it's quiet, it's comfortable, it goes for a long time on a charge, it can charge up quickly, relatively, and it's high tech. The experience on some of these dash systems are just terrible. And that
I
one
agree.
is solid.
Yep.
It's like everything's fine.
Yeah, it's very Apple, the screen.
There are a lot of parallels with Tesla and Apple.
Yeah.
A lot. Like a shocking amount.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your dream car like coming up?
Upcoming that I know is upcoming.
I know you drove what's that blue car that's downstairs literally right now? The Rimac?
The Rimac. Oh, that's here. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
it's literally
Rimac.
downstairs.
I drove the concept.
That's the one you drove, no?
That's the one I drove. Yes.
Yeah.
I chipped the windshield.
No.
Yeah. I didn't chip the windshield.
Oh,
the
well.
car in front of me shooting me driving kicked up a rock that hit the windshield
Okay.
as I drove behind them.
Well, that's like the less expensive thing to fix.
We replaced that. Yeah. That was not cheap.
It wasn't?
No,
bad?
but I had to pay for it. I signed it up. I signed up for it. I got the insurance. I made it. It was fine.
Wow.
But that's
Because that car's like 1.3
it's a $1.5 million car. It's
Yeah.
funny. They made 8 ever. So like that's I think the only one without an owner, weirdly.
Wow.
But now that same company made the Concept 2, which is the Nevera.
Mhm.
And that is the only two-door like proper electric sports car.
Yeah.
It's $2.5 million.
Yeah.
I'm never going to drive one. But that thing looks
I
sick.
mean, don't say never. Why wouldn't you drive
Or
one?
maybe I'll drive one someday.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You drove a $1.5 million one?
There's something about like I've driven a lot of very expensive cars, and I think once you get into the 6 digits, it just doesn't seem like a car anymore. It seems like you're driving this like piece of jewelry or something, and you're afraid to do anything, like get close to a curb or another car. It's just like it kind of feels like it ruins the experience. Like I drive my car like a normal car,
a utility car.
Yeah, and I'm not like afraid of it or anything like that. And I think when you get in those like astronomical prices, it starts to feel, for me, a little bit
anxiety,
crazy, a little anxiety inducing. Yeah. So, but that's probably the car I'm looking forward to eventually driving the most. That thing.
Because I think they don't have it downstairs. They have it a few blocks away at Manhattan Motor Cars. I saw they were promoting it. But what's going to happen when the traditional brands, Lamborghini, Ferrari, and all switch up to EVs? Do they just rock the world of Tesla and all these other cars?
I have my opinions on that. Some of them have sworn they're not going to do it. Like Bugatti, which they just merged with Rimac, but Bugatti makes Bugattis and whatever. I think pretty much all of the major car manufacturers are going to eventually start to have to make EVs because that is the sustainable future of transport, and that's great. My question is, when will they get good at the software that Tesla's so good at? Because Tesla makes really great software and they're all optimized, but their cars are like not the best built in the world. So it's like, do you think Tesla's going to get good at making cars, or do you think GM or all those other companies are going to get good at making software? Which one is more likely? They'll probably come out on top.
I think maybe this is my bias showing. I think it'll be easier to steal someone who does good software than to figure out the completion and quality and build control of
like 100 years of manufacturing. I think that's the logical, correct answer. It just seems like, why haven't they done it? It's been so long. Like they're all so bad.
I feel like it's executives being older.
Yeah.
It's like the same reason why media execs, like you and I, probably walk into a room and they're like, oh, you guys are YouTubers? What's that about?
Right.
And we're like, well, we get more views than all your primetime shows.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. Like they're a lot of these companies, because they're 100 years old, they have these like rock solid set in place things that just don't change. And that's why they're so good at what they do. But if things change, like electric cars coming up, that's tough for them. They got to slowly change that shit.
Yeah. You can't make a drastic swap. That's cool that you nerd over cars like me. Do you have a guilty pleasure that you spend stuff way too much money on?
I don't know if it's way too much money. Probably is. Is just like the equipment. And we reinvest in like making videos so much that we've realized that at our scale, if we're making tech videos and everyone can watch a video about the new watch, then why would anyone watch mine? If everyone has a video, we can watch any of them. We're trying to do things that other people can't do in their videos. And we come up with these ideas, and some of them are very expensive. Some of them might involve like a robot with like a camera on the end of it, just moving, doing crazy shots, but they're really fun.
Okay.
So I'm willing to justify that expense because of the end result of the video being
that's a business
unique
thing.
In some way. Yeah. I think we do pay a lot of it.
Well, I think that's a Mr. Beast move. You're reinvesting into the final product in a way.
Sure, yeah. But more than necessary. Because we buy,
if you weren't crushing it, you could say more than necessary, but.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I just know that like if people knew how much we spend just on videos.
All right, how much do you spend on videos?
It's like the robot, for example, was $250,000 for the robot, just for the robot. It comes with like software. We pay for maintenance, we pay for updates and all that stuff. Just for the robot that sits there with 3,000 pounds of steel weights on the ends of it.
By the way, Dan, don't get any ideas.
It's pretty nuts. I love that thing though, and I'm glad we did it. And whether or not it pays for itself, I don't even know how to define that. The cameras, so the DSMC2 red cameras from a few years ago were about 70 grand each. Red recently came out with their DSMC3 cameras, 25 grand each. What do you think I'd do with the old cameras? No one wants to buy those. I traded them in at Adorama, and I got like 10 grand for them.
Wow.
Gigantic
what a
L.
drop.
Huge L.
Wow.
But like,
that's worse than some of these NFTs out here.
yeah, it's almost as bad as some of the NFTs. But like, that's the thing that we're willing to take because we like making high quality videos with this stuff.
What's your company's expenses at the end of the year? How much are you spending in a
No
year?
clue. You'd have to ask my mom. My mom runs.
Does your mom do?
She runs the expenses.
Wow,
She runs
she's your
all the
CFO.
finance. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So she could tell you what payroll is, what income
Guesstimate.
streams are.
What are-
I mean, payroll is the biggest expense. We
7
have 12
figures, 8
people.
figures?
It is 7 figures.
Wow.
Yeah, comfortably. But it's like that's payroll. Our biggest expense is probably taxes. And then we have the studio space, which we don't own. So we pay to rent, which New Jersey's pretty, it's not New York expensive, but it's pretty good. And then we buy a lot of devices. We buy a lot of equipment for making the videos. And then we have the once in a while like robot arm thing happen. So yeah.
But that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you hate what you do, how can, like you're saying you won't experience burnout.
Yeah.
It's because you love what you do.
And
You
we
have the
try
freedom to
random-
do it. No one's telling you what kind of content or how to make it. I feel like that's the beauty of why you're not experiencing burnout.
That's true. And we do get to try new things and like have fun with it and do things that other channels aren't doing. And that's really fun. Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
I was going to ask you a question. Now I feel like I shouldn't ask you, but what do you think of my setup here, our setup?
I like it. I like it. So podcast, we have a podcast setup as well.
Yeah.
It is the smallest room in our space because it's the best sounding room.
Mm-hmm.
You also have nice looking podcast studio, which is a bonus. Some of them are not made for video. You just set up the mics and you're done. So this is nice. Looking at the lights, this is great. We have also a huge, this is aperture. We have the same exact thing in the middle of our podcast setup. So yeah, you guys got it going.
Got some cameras.
Yeah.
Dan's got his little Rode soundboard
All
over there.
Canon C70. Yeah. C300. So you're mix and matching a little bit.
New guy right here.
Same sensor.
R5C, same sensor, same color science.
Dan's all about the color science.
Yeah. No, this is
Seriously, like
24 to 70. Yeah, yeah. I think it's a good setup.
it's good.
I have the same wooden camera handle on the top of my camera.
Oh wow.
Yeah. it's
Okay,
good.
so we're not terrible. You don't give us
No,
an-
I think it's good.
Okay.
I think it's really good.
nice. We
Yeah.
got a positive
Well
review.
done. Yeah.
I didn't even have to embargo him on this. Or something I was gonna say. Oh, do you spend money on health products in general? I was curious about that.
Does the watch count?
No, let's hold that up because we talked
Health
about
products. Daily multivitamin.
that. Like, do you do any kind of supplements? Anything you
No,
need?
just protein, regular, basic. Yeah, I don't really, I guess not.
Are you
I
a
guess
coffee drinker?
None.
Wow.
Zero. Yeah.
That-
Zero.
That allows you to keep it
This
level.
is a money saving too. $0 lifetime spent on caffeine and
My
alcohol.
guy spent 200 grand on a robot, and he's talking about saving
Yes.
$2 on a coffee.
But how much do you think you spend in coffee? Think about it.
How
Over
much?
the years.
How much?
Do you think you know?
How much?
A lot.
No,
It might be in a year. Let's say you have.
it's a $50,000 Adorama loss.
That's fair. Okay, I'll take that. That's fair.
Sorry.
It's not the robot, but it is a lot. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. Tech, how involved or interested are you in the NFT space or crypto space?
As close to zero as you can be without being zero. I have to like keep an eye on it, but I have so much skepticism in like
Me too.
every time something gets pitched in the inbox or in person or I see
I
anything,
love that.
it always just defaults to how much money you can make. And I need to know some other benefit. Something.
Yes.
Anything tangible, like how useful it'll be. I've seen a little bit, some whisperings here and there about like maybe the deed of your house will be an NFT one day. Maybe. I don't know. I have a safe with a deed in it. I feel like an old person when I say this, but like I'm skeptic. I'm a skeptic.
I'm 1,000% with you.
Yeah.
And I wonder what you would say if like Gary Vee pitched you on this. And he's like, come
I've
on.
heard a
man.
lot of what he said.
And
it still screams like, look how much money you can make on this.
Got it.
And I need more than that.
so you're calling BS on Gary Vee.
Is he saying more that I'm missing?
No, I think a lot of it is very investor heavy
Yes.
and future potential beautiful things. I'm going to
Similar
say
to-
something maybe off color, but it's reminding me of the way communism was pitched in Russia. Beautiful idea
Mm-hmm.
to us. Beautiful. We all work for a common purpose, common goal, and everyone's equal, but then the people on top are actually skimming off the top and screwing the people on the bottom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It reminds me of crypto, which was like, I understand the benefit of blockchain. I understand why Bitcoin exists and can be used, but is it actually the future? A little bit of this with VR too. I'm working on a video about the metaverse, which as you can imagine has its skeptics. I am one of them. but I've
We have many similarities.
Yeah, I've been trying the stuff. I just tried the new MetaQuest VR Pro headset.
Ooh.
Incredible piece of tech. Really, really cool, like when it works. But how am I going to convince anyone to buy it? Like, is there a real reason
You will,
would
but
wanna
it'll sit in
spend
their
time?
closet after the first.
Which is
use.
most people. And I have a Quest, and like I use it sometimes, and I'll like give it to my mom, and it's fun to watch her try it.
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, back to the closet.
It's novelty.
Yeah.
It's novelty. I would say it's fair to call crypto a novelty. And we've seen it go up and down. And I thought I own some crypto, because this is why I never liked crypto. I used to play poker back in the day, like college days. And my degenerate poker friends were the first ones that introduced me to it.
Of course.
And
Of course.
they made so much money.
Of
But I bought
course.
some because of them. So I made some money too. And I'm grateful for them for that.
Yeah.
But
But that's what it feels like.
That's
It's
what it feels
gambling
like,
and
yes.
like, can I make some money off of this?
yes.
Am I going to strategize? All of the strategy and talk that I get pitched about crypto is about how much money you can make off of it. I'm not here for that. Please give me something else.
Yeah. And there's beautiful tech aspirations to it that sound, there's a lot of terminology
Agreed.
that's thrown around
Yeah.
to confuse people, much like in the healthcare space where people promise things and make wild snake oils, miraculous product pitches.
Yeah. Are
In
there,
biohacking. Oh,
is there a big overlap of like tech and like biohacking type like products that people should avoid? I feel like there's a lot
100%.
of stuff.
so much.
Okay. But the watches aren't one of them. We're good.
No, the watches are actually the benign version of them.
Okay.
I think it's when the biohacking people start saying they make it sound like we know more than we do. And I'm never poo-pooing them for wanting to know more or saying I know better. It's me saying I know what we know and we don't know this.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we just don't know this. Like the claim you're making, we don't know that.
Right.
So there's products, like we just got pitched a product to do an Instagram story for that's supposedly to help with meditation that will vibrate in a way that will stimulate your vagus nerve.
Of course.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
it sounds beautiful. It may even work.
It reminds me of those like bracelets people used to
Yes.
wear to like balance your
The
energy
ions.
and all that. The ions
Yeah.
and negative, positive. Oh yeah. of
Baseball
course.
players love those
For some reason. I don't know
because
why.
they're probably the most
They're the superstitious
yeah.
sport. Okay. That actually tracks. Yeah. I don't watch baseball, but I
Yeah.
understand how that would be a
Well, because it's like a very number heavy game. You get into a slump, you're like, shit.
Right.
You start hitting home runs, you're like, I'm wearing this thing.
yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Or start using steroids. Sorry, baseball. Boxing, same thing. So
Yep.
it goes around. Is there a PED use in Frisbee? Oh, you're gonna start testing your
PED?
teammates now?
To be fair, the world championships, you do get tested.
Get out.
Randomly tested.
Whoa.
So it is
the cleanest sport.
potentially.
Because
Yeah.
I don't think that happens.
In a lot of sports, that's probably it was one person randomly on the team, and they wouldn't tell you who it would be or when. So like everyone theoretically was clean.
One person gets tested.
One person got tested.
Has anyone ever got caught?
Not that I know of.
God, I wonder what they would use.
To just run fast and jump higher. There's a lot of stuff. For
Yeah,
that.
I guess you can.
I don't think it's at that point yet.
Okay.
I mean-
the money is probably what is an
Yeah.
average professional Frisbee player make?
It's semi-pro. Like everyone on the team has another job.
What's the you mean like the money is lower when
Right.
it's semi-pro? Okay.
Yes.
So like what does that mean?
Meaning like $20 a game. Like you're getting
Oh, that's
It's
not semi-pro, that's mini pro.
instead of being
That's
out
tough.
of pocket, it's net zero. That's really what it is.
Wow, 20 bucks. I mean, I had sparring today and I paid my sparring partners $20 a round or something.
Right. But you paid. Imagine if they showed up for free. Then you'd be kind of semi-pro. Kind of like that. Like in Club Frisbee, it's expensive to play. Everyone has to fly to these tournaments. There's a tournament in Boston, and then there's one in Denver, and then there's one in another city, and like the whole team has to fly there, get housing,
Okay.
get your equipment, your jerseys, you pay for that. Maybe get a jersey sponsor, but like you're out of pocket thousands of dollars to play a season.
Okay.
When you play for a pro team, it's structured like a pro sport. There's an audience, there's ticket sales. The team ownership provides you with everything you need, and you just show up and play. And maybe you get $20 a game or something. Like it's not like we're playing for the money. We're playing
For the love
for
of
the
the
audience, for the love of the game, and that's why it's pro Frisbee.
Okay.
But no one's full-time job is Frisbee.
Okay, so 1 to 10, what are the odds of you owning a team in the future? Or
I
the
mean,
league?
If I want specifically to do that, because it depends on if I think it's a good financial investment.
No,
Will
you
it make
do
money?
Your robot is not a good financial
That's
investment.
fair.
You
I'll
love
own a
it.
team. Yeah. No, it would be fun.
What would you call the team?
Well, the existing teams are good. I think I would just buy into a good
Team.
organization. Yeah.
But if you had to name a team,
a lot of them are named. I don't know. I play for the New York Empire. That's a good team name, right? Like there's good Empire. That's pretty good. I mean,
that's pretty generic.
in a world of
the Big Apples.
So Frisbee started in the 60s, and there were some bad team names up until like the last 10 years where they were like
bad, like problematic.
Yes.
Ooh, like what?
Oh, I mean,
say them.
I could Google them and like
no, put them on blast. It's not like they exist.
It's not like it's like Washington Redskins bad. It's not like
it's not. Okay.
Yeah,
it's
not.
Not to say that Washington Redskins wasn't a problem, but I wonder what.
Let me see if I can find some examples of. Like the good ones now are reasonable. 200. I don't know.
What did you Google?
I Googled Ultimate Frisbee team names, but that's not going to help me find the
problematic ones.
Canceled. Let's try that.
Has a Frisbee team ever been canceled?
For sure. I don't want to call them out because then I'm going to get called out for calling them out. It feels like punching down. There are, if you look it up later,
I'll look it up.
There are some pretty.
Look it up at home.
College Ultimate
and then
Frisbee.
leave comments on their Instagram page.
Yeah. I sent you.
Okay, fair. So what would you name them?
Oh, let's go with the New Jersey. Oh, here's one. I used to play for a now defunct New Jersey pro team called the Hammerheads. That doesn't make any sense.
Why?
So, because there's no Hammerheads in New Jersey, right?
I mean, they're cool.
They're cool, but like it should.
There aren't any Commanders in Washington.
That's
no.
fair.
I'm sure. No,
there could be. Yeah, there are.
No, there don't.
No, I would go.
There's
like
no Giants in New York.
New Jersey. What is there a lot of? New Jersey
pollution.
Potholes. We'd be the Potholes.
That's actually a dope
team name.
See?
And we'd have a sick mascot that's just like huge craters all over him.
It's very basketball.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah. That'd be perfect.
Okay. So let's do our lightning round here.
All right.
Whoa. What is my phone doing?
You got the purple one.
I did get the purple one.
Nice. Very nice.
What's one thing your body does that not everybody else's body does?
199 BPM max heart rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And resting 40.
And resting 40. That combo.
Okay. Yeah, I would actually say that's rare.
Okay.
That you have such a low resting heart rate. Yeah, you can get it up real high. Because a lot of people who have such a low resting heart rate have to really struggle to get a higher heart rate.
I have friends that like are at 40 and never go over 165, which is crazy. But yeah.
Okay. So that means you're really fit. How far can you run right now? I'm just curious.
It's a good question.
Can you run a marathon?
I don't know. I used to just run 5Ks for fun without training, but that was like 3 miles or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I could run I'm putting myself on the spot.
Half.
I think I could do a half marathon.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do it after this.
Okay.
What's one thing you would do if I, as a doctor, could guarantee you wouldn't suffer any medical consequences?
What's one thing I would do? I
have the potion to prevent any medical consequences.
Knees fixed forever.
But what would you do with those knees?
I would play a lot more. I would be so because
you would join every pro team.
I would be so happy. I would just be happy. I would be so happy.
Does your knee bring you sadness?
It brings me pain equals sadness. Yes,
Uh-huh.
Which it would be nice if after a practice I didn't like sit down and ice my knees and sulk.
Do you do
for an
PT?
hour. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like down from its previous peak of pain, but it's not at zero.
Mm.
If you could just give me 18-year-old knees,
okay,
I would do anything.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
What's one silly thing you wish you could change about your body? Your knee.
Yes.
yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Have you ever almost died?
Yes. I had pneumonia once. I was in the hospital for a few days for that as a kid.
Mm-hmm. It was that bad? You almost died?
Yeah. Well,
bacterial?
To me, I don't know the details anymore. I just know I was in a hospital for several days and that was pneumonia, and that's a thing that I did once.
Okay. Well, I'm glad antibiotics
I think that's
exist.
the closest I got, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
No car accidents or anything like that?
No.
I'm surprised with your testing all these fast vehicles.
Very safe.
Very safe.
I never crash cars. No,
Yeah.
no.
You've never been in a car accident in your life?
I was once.
Okay.
And I got hit by a truck on a highway, but it was like a
Side
swipe where I was on his right side, kind of a blind spot type situation. He went to merge, didn't see me, and I remember driving, just feeling like And like he comes all the way up to the driver's side door with his car before he realizes he's even touching anything. Those rigs are huge. You don't even see anything.
Course.
So I was fine, but that was bad for the insurance.
I once crashed my Audi TTS that I had because of a spider.
In the car?
Yeah.
Oh no.
And not because I was scared of it. Tough.
Just trying.
No, I went to kill it.
Yeah.
And as I killed it, I hit with my right side, the left side of the parked car.
Dang.
Yeah. You know how embarrassing it was telling firefighters, police officers,
what happened?
My Russian father? It was because of a spider. The insurance company.
If you just say it was because of the spider, they're picturing you freaking out because of a spider dangling. You should be like, I was trying to murder an intruder and I was distracted.
And I made my dad go in and see the dead spider on the console. Okay, and he's like, I don't care. He blamed it on texting. I'm like, my phone wasn't out. What's the biggest piece of looming tech you think will make the largest and most immediate impact on our daily lives?
That's a golden question. I'm tempted to say when Apple enters a new space, they usually make a pretty big splash, and they are rumored to be coming out with a VR headset next year. I think it will work best with Apple's ecosystem of products, which a lot of people in the US have, the iPhone, for example. That could be the thing that convinces people about VR. Could be. Huge could. It could also not.
Did you see the interview with Zuckerberg with Verge?
Yep.
What are your thoughts? He's like, oh, Apple with their privacy thing is being so.
I think he's right. I think
well, yeah, it's a business world.
Yeah,
like he acts like he's like no one's
pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
Yes, fully. Like Apple does things all the time where they'll have the public reason and then they'll have the coincidental business advantage that it just happens to work out in their favor. Yeah. Yes, that's a common thing.
Okay, fair. Yeah. But he didn't look threatened. I feel like he knows something we don't know.
That company has dumped so much money and resources into it that I feel like they have a comfortable lead where they can play with that lead, and he won't be too stressed until the others at least announce their stuff.
Fair.
Yeah.
Do you post your content to Facebook?
I do. I work with a studio that does.
Oh, Jelly Smack?
They cut down stuff. No, Studio 71.
Oh.
But they do the same thing.
Yeah. I've talked to them before.
Yeah.
And well, because you work with them, you don't experience the frustration that we have posting directly to Facebook. Oh my God, it's so bad.
It doesn't look fun.
It's so bad.
I don't really ever log into Facebook. I just see that happens.
And the money comes into the account and we're happy.
It just gets posted.
Yeah. But it makes you appreciate YouTube. Oh my God.
Every time I work with other platforms and I work with YouTube again, I'm like, yep, this is the way they're all hoping to be someday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I hate monopolies, but if they became one, I get it.
They kind of are.
Yeah.
The way I phrased it before, like TikTok comes up, TikTok, billions and billions and billions of views, right? Mm-hmm. Is TikTok a platform or a feature?
Of what? A feature? Like
a feature of YouTube.
Wait, is shorts. TikTok?
TikTok. So like Twitch. Twitch owned by Amazon, huge website. All they do is live streaming video. They don't even do VODs.
Yeah.
And then YouTube comes along and they're like, oh yeah, we can do live streaming too. And then they build in, donating features and all this other stuff.
Streaming.
And suddenly like Twitch is just a feature of YouTube. They've built in all the same stuff. So if you're a Twitch streamer, why do you stay with Twitch? Well, the audience maybe, but you can build an audience on YouTube now. Is TikTok forever a thing that just lives separately from YouTube? Or is it just like, will all those people eventually you saw the new monetization announcement? Will these people just build an audience on YouTube? YouTube kind of is the online video monopoly.
I think still platform. Whether or not it has longevity is maybe a different question, but I think it's a platform because of demographics usage.
That's true. Fair.
Because like some of my people that I talk to, my patients, my younger patients and my nephews, they don't really use YouTube in the way that they use TikTok. So I think because of that, it's a platform. Yeah. And they, even when they reference YouTube, they say TikTok. And people that come up to me on the street, you're the TikTok doctor. Or I announce my boxing fight on Showtime and they're like, wow, you go from making TikTok videos to being a boxer? And I'm like, what?
That might be because of discoverability. Like that's where they found you. Maybe. And they might also know you make YouTube videos and we're doing that first, but like, oh, I found you on the TikTok thing. So I feel like
once you pass 10 million on YouTube, you should be a youth. But it's funny, I run into the same trouble with like on TV when I do like nationwide television, they call me a YouTuber. Right. But then like Keemstar will do a video about like boxing and he'll mention me and he'll call me the TV doctor. And I'm like, wait, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, well, you're so multi-platform that you just can't nail it down.
I don't have
Where
a
is
home
he from?
anywhere.
Where is he from? Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so I think it's somewhat of a platform, but I could be wrong. Sam, you threw in the guilty pleasure. What gives you anxiety these days?
Not making videos that are good enough. Like I for the longest time I've had a vision of how good I want the videos to be, and we've been working towards that vision, but it is very much a moving goalpost, and I don't think we'll ever make videos as good as we want them to be. Whether that's anxiety or just like self-inflicted pressure or whatever it is what it is. But like, I sometimes stress out about like, I don't know. I really want to be able to explain this thing in a video, but I don't know if it's good enough. Maybe it will be someday, but that's the thing that I most think about usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you talk to yourself about it or others? Do you have a coping mechanism that you find successful?
Not really. I guess it's like there's some, I mean, inevitably you get people who are just like, oh, I like your work. And that's like, okay, good. It's still good. That's
so is it
nice.
a numbers thing that you look at?
No, it's more of like the sentiment overall. I think you can sort of do a sort of basic sentiment analysis if you read enough things of like how people feel about a thing at a certain time. And it's generally pretty positive about any new stuff you're doing. Like, oh, you're doing a class. Cool. It's a positive thing. Oh, you're doing a new thing. That's cool. But even if like something is a total disaster behind the scenes, but you put it out anyway just because you just want to get it over with, a part of me is always like, let me wait for all the negative comments to roll in because this one's not as good. And I just need people to tell me it's not as good so I can move on to the next thing. Let's just get it over with. That's my mentality. And I guess, yeah, I'm just looking for confirmation bias of how I feel about what we make.
But that is also your drive and what makes you special.
Possibly, yeah. Trying to make good stuff.
You don't think that's your superpower? That you constantly want to push that boundary and never settling for
I think
this is just okay?
Maybe there's an element of that to everyone, but I guess the thing that it started with was I'm trying to make videos I'd want to watch, and then I'm trying to make channels that I'd want to subscribe to. And there are so many videos that I want to make that I don't have the like capacity or the skill even. Like I watch videos from other creators, I'm like, dang, that was good. I wish I made that video. That's amazing. And so I want to get to that level where I'm just like, yeah, this thing that we made, this is perfect. This is great. But it's not going to happen.
Why is it not going to happen?
Because you can't. That is the definition of a contextually moving goalpost. I'm sure the best athletes in the world think that they can get better, even though they're the best. And whether I'm comparing my skill to that of an athlete or someone who's just trying to get better at a skill that they have, it's just, I don't think you can ever be satisfied fully with the skill that you care the most about.
It comes back to the thing, are you happy versus content?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a common theme that folks really that are competitive fall into a concern about, because it feels like if you're content, you're just not interested in growing.
Right.
And then if you're not growing, you're stagnant, and then performance falls off, and then you're like, what the heck?
Also, everything moves around you. So you could be great at something and then you become stagnant, and your work could be exactly as good as it was 5 years ago, but now you're stagnant and content and everything else is past you and you're not as good as you are. Not even in numbers, just in skill. The videos that I made 10 years ago when I was like getting into cinema cameras for the first time, got the same comments. Holy crap, this video looks amazing. If I put up that video today, wow, this looks bad. This is bad.
Well, that's good. Okay, so then the final thing is 10 years from now, where's Marques?
Tough question. Tech moves fast.
Well, because you just said where you were 10 years ago.
Yeah. If you told me 10 years ago that I'd be here, I'd never believe you. If you told me 3 years ago, I might believe you. So 10 years, I'm for sure going to be wrong about my prediction, but I'll give it a shot anyway. I think I'll be making the best videos I've ever made on the main channel. I think we'll have the capacity and the teamwork around us in the studio to make lots of great videos we'd want to watch and channels we want to subscribe to. And I hope that by then we've figured out a product we can make.
Oh, yeah. I want to know what product you're going to make.
We're working on some stuff, but it's going to take a while.
Are you going to do it solo or in partnership with a company?
It's a good question. I would like to do it solo, but that's a lot of resources.
Yeah,
and I think
it's like hiring people just for that.
Yeah, we are constantly thinking about even like little things. Like Like here's an example of a product I see a lot is a wallpaper app. A lot of YouTubers make a video about a phone. It's got a cool wallpaper on it. And every time I make a video with cool wallpaper, someone's like, where'd you get that wallpaper? Here's a great answer. Make a wallpaper app. You can always send people to that. It's great. A couple YouTubers have done it. And I'm like, if I wanted to do that, it would either be partner with an existing one or like hire developers, artists, like people to actually build this thing. Even that is a ton of work.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not so sure there's a right answer. You just kind of have to feel it out versus the task.
Well, we will be waiting with immense excitement to see your successes.
Hopefully soon.
And wish you much success. Where do you want to push people? What do you want them to watch? The channel, the podcast, everything?
Yeah, just look up MKBHD anywhere.
And don't you dare just subscribe. Subscribe and view because we want the algorithm to know that you truly love us.
Exactly. If you sub and don't view, it's worse. Please watch them.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. Stay happy and healthy.
All right, shout out to the individuals that gave us 5-star reviews and left a comment with a medical question. Remember, it's hard to make podcasts pop off on the audio version, so make sure you rate them 5 stars and throw in a medical question into the body of your review so I can answer it at the end of the episode, just like I'm about to do now. All right, number 1, we have T-Bro Chakao. Hello, Dr. Mike. I'm a huge fan. So is Bear. Currently, I'm in an undergraduate college, and I was wondering if you have any tips or advice for admission and general information about medical school. I'm really interested in becoming an orthopedic surgeon and have shadowed some of my friends' parents who are ER doctors. Okay, do I have any tips or advice? I think you've already taken one of my biggest tips, and that's to expose yourself to the field early on by shadowing people who do what you enjoy doing. Although I would say push your boundaries. Visit with other specialties, visit with other people in the medical field, spend time with nurses, spend time with PAs, spend time with dentists, really get a sense of what the other fields are like so that you can create a list of pros and cons that are accurate to you. And then once you get into this really long medical journey, which it's really long, try not to think about the long road ahead of you and instead think about the challenge ahead at that very moment. Because in medicine, there's so many obstacles in the way, so many tests in the way, board licensing exams, that if you think about all of it at once, it will become overwhelming, anxiety-provoking, and you just won't do well on the challenge that you have to succeed in that given moment. So think about the test that week. Don't think about anything else. Actually, I'll do you one better. Think about the test that week and then the fun you're going to have after that test. That's a strategy that worked well for me. All right, we got Samami 1124. Is Dr. Mike wearing a hearing aid? Oh, no, that's a great question. I am wearing headphones, but this is kind of like a fancy headphone that allows you to have really good quality. What is it called, Dan? It has like a specific name. An in-ear monitor. Yeah, something like that. But it's not a hearing aid. Shout out to those who do wear hearing aids because they're cool. Yeah, that's a good talking point there. Michael, Miguel, are you a fan of sparkling water? I'm a big fan of sparkling water, obsessed with sparkling water because I don't like to drink sugary beverages, but sparkling water, because it's a little bit more exciting than flat water, I enjoy. It's not great if you're trying to lose weight in some instances, and bear with me here, because it is better than soda. So it's great if you're replacing soda. But if you are finding yourself hungrier after drinking sparkling water, that's a phenomenon that could happen because when you drink sparkling water, it stretches your stomach because of the bubbles, so much so that you feel like you need to take in more food at other times. And that can happen to some people. So just be aware. Tamagotchi, is it weird I've never flossed and never had bad breath? Is it just the USA diet? Okay, depends on your age. It's not that weird because if you brush your teeth well, it's a good first step. But don't think about it as bad breath. Think about the negative consequence of not flossing as poor dental oral health. So maybe right now your breath is okay, but long-term, are you developing early signs of gum disease that could be problematic, but maybe it just doesn't have a smell to it? So I would still encourage you to floss. And so would my dentist friends. Trisha B, why are certain things so frequently the cause of people's allergies? Why are people so allergic to nuts and shellfish, but not other things? That is because of the certain proteins that present themselves in those objects that have a highly allergenic component. For whatever reason, our bodies have developed allergies to those things. Don't ask me why. I didn't create the allergies, but our bodies have. And as a result, our bodies overreact when they see them. Because essentially an allergy is an autoimmune condition where your immune system overreacts to something. And when it becomes autoimmune is when it starts attacking it so much so that it causes damage. And some allergies, like ones that cause anaphylaxis and cause you to die, are essentially a form of autoimmune disease, at least in my opinion. I don't know what the medical textbooks say. All right, that's all the questions for today. Please leave those 5-star reviews. Please ask medical questions because I love answering them. And finally, once again, huge thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this episode. As always, stay happy and healthy.